All right, Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, everybody. We're back with yet another episode of the Rendezvous at the CxO Global Forum. And yeah, I can see that we're going live now. And we have with us Abrar Bajwa, who's a co-founder of Tazah Technology. So we'll be in discussion with him. हम bilingual रखेंगे ताकि जो भी लोग हमें social media के different platforms पे देख रहे हैं, we're live on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn and Twitter, I believe. So if anybody has any questions that would come right about when we are live or even later, then feel free to ask us, and we'd love to know more about what Tazah Technologies is doing and what Abrar's journey has been. Assalamu alaikum, Abrar.
Ji, walaikum salam. Thank you for having me over.
We are delighted because this is a topic I guess agri-tech is very close to my heart. Anything tech is very close to my heart. So we are doing this series of conversations with startup founders like yourself. Journey कैसे शुरू हुई, idea कैसे आया, क्यों need आई आपको एग्री-टेक के बारे में सोचने की, और फिर ताज़ा का आइडिया कहाँ से शुरू हुआ?
बिल्कुल सही है. So Tazah, we started Tazah in August 2021. उससे पहले मेरा जो background है और मेरे co-founder का background है, both have technology, ride-hailing background. So I've served as a director at Careem. Mohsin served as a GM at Careem, and Mohsin more than me understands technology because he started out very early 2017 से वो Careem के साथ था before when they were taking off in Pakistan. मेरा ज़्यादा traditional background है. I've worked in FMCGs and I've worked in industrial conglomerates, right? But once we were working at Careem together, thoda sa ek ambition tha कि यार we got to start something of our own. We have the background, we have the right skill set. जो सीखा है Careem से, we should apply it for ourselves and for even the larger country that we born in, that we work in. So we started, at least brainstorming, jamming कि क्या करना चाहिए, क्या नहीं करना चाहिए, all that. Somewhere in 2020, COVID ke fauran baad, it was also a period of self-reflection. There was so much going on in the world. तो उस period में हमने start किया इसको, jam करना शुरू किया, looked at multiple ideas. जो 3-4 चीजें हम देख रहे थे, वो basically यही थी, criteria ये था कि we got to solve one a very hard problem. तो उसमें there are multiple spaces within Pakistan जिसमें like playbooks हैं, there are global playbooks जिनको आप implement कर सकते हो. But agri-tech एक ऐसी space है जो अभी तक globally, nobody can say that they've cracked it, right? So वो एक ऐसी, it seemed like a hard problem to solve. We get attracted to hard problems. दूसरा ये था कि it was also a problem which was extremely impactful to solve for the country and for like all developing markets, right? Because it's an age-old problem. Farmers make put in, like, they take the highest risk and they get the lowest amount of reward for their services. There's a lot of wastage. That wastage leads to food price inflation. That wastage leads to food insecurity. Pakistan is a food insecure country now. We can talk about it. The multiple challenges over there. So it seemed like a problem जिसके through हम बहुत outsized impact create कर सकते हैं. So that came to mind. Third, of course, was जो जिंदगी में सीखा है उसको apply इधर किया जा सकता था. There are multiple spaces where we don't have a lot of background, तो उधर तो नहीं किया जा सकता. For example, Web 3.0 is something that we're not very familiar with, or even deep fintech. What's happening in the back end, वो हमें नहीं पता, right? So, but we knew a bit about SaaS. We knew a bit about marketplaces. 2-3 चीजें, for example, even financing की पता थी. So that all sort of came together. Hard problem, impact for the country, something we knew about, and then we just started out थोड़े से अपने toes wet किए, while working our day jobs. I think
A little bit of a lag, but that's okay. I can still hear you.
Okay, great. So that happened, and started out, wetted our toes, did like a pilot for a couple of months. Scale. Very fortunate with our fundraisers, very fortunate with our business so far. We've seen a lot of ups and downs, but alhamdulillah, all have been great experiences, all great learnings, and puts us in a place where we can sort of build something super large and outsized for Pakistan and for ourselves.
Yeah, excellent. So for all the people who would be hearing about Tazah for the first time, what is the solution that we're providing?
Right. So Tazah right now is trying to build an operating system for the agriculture value chain of Pakistan. That means a suite of products that connect and digitize different parts of the value chain. And in doing so, first build the rails for how agri businesses are done within Pakistan. Not very farmer focused at this point, but farmers are like in the product and journey roadmap, going to happen sometime at some point in time. But at this point in time, building the rails for the agri, operating system of Pakistan. One of our products called Tazah digitizes the input side of the agri businesses, where any large manufacturer or a medium-sized manufacturer can digitize their sales of agri inputs by using Tazah Tez. It's an enterprise SaaS product. Already working with a few clients on that one. Then there's the agri output marketplace that we have, through which we buy produce from markets, mandis, and we connect them to large millers and manufacturers, mostly in the maize or corn space right now. Then there's Tazah Global, which connects local producers, processors, manufacturers to global businesses, right? And that is something that we're trying to scale across multiple countries now. So it's a suite of services. It solves at different stages. It solves different problems. But जो एक problem digitization solve clearly करता है, वो है आपकी जो हाई फ्रिक्शन ट्रांजैक्शंस हैं, जिसमें फॉर एग्जांपल एक जो ताज़ा तेज जो सॉल्व कर रहा है, वो ये कि एक दुकानदार ने सेल्समैन को फोन किया, जी आपके पास क्या क्या है, हंड्रेड्स ऑफ एसक्यूज, अच्छा मुझे ये चाहिए, इसकी प्राइस पता करें, वो प्राइस पता करेगा, दैट्स मल्टीपल स्टेप्स इन्वॉल्व, अच्छा आप मुझे ऑर्डर प्लेस कर दें, ऑर्डर गया नहीं गया, पेमेंट एक और इसमें लेयर ऑफ कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी है, फिर वो ऑर्डर की डिलीवरी. सो व्हाट वी डू इज वी डिजिटाइज द होल ordering process, we digitize the whole payments process, and we digitize the delivery process, thereby sort of reducing information asymmetry and reducing the risk of error, and also reducing the cost for these manufacturers. So multiple products solve multiple problems, and we are trying to build those suite of products across the value chain.
So Abrar, this is a very exciting model. I'm just also taking my notes because this is really exciting, and it's like a case study, I think, for all the startups to look into and see and evaluate. You guys went ahead with multiple service provisions, right? Usually जो startups अभी हम देखते हैं वो थोड़े से risk averse भी होते हैं, थोड़े से daunted भी होते हैं with the task के पता नहीं यार ये चले ना चले. Did you guys ever have this thought that okay, we're branching out into so many different variations of a service? Is it a daunting task? Was it a very calculated risk? Do you feel that ज़्यादा हो गया या कम करना चाहिए था या मज़ीद बढ़ाने चाहिए?
So देखिए, entrepreneurs, especially early stage startups, venture backed startups के जो founders या फिर even early founding teams जो हैं, they live in a very large conflict. एक conflict ये है, एक part उनका जो part of their brain is always like fearless, right? कि बस कर देंगे, हम जाएंगे. There is extreme optimism, we'll go for this, and it's going to work out, right? और दूसरा part होता है extreme pessimism, paranoia का, right? And that is also sort of working on like a more short-term basis. So there is long-term optimism, but there is also short-term paranoia. कि यार, there are days जब आप कहते हैं यार this is never going to work out, right? We did this, but it didn't work out. And then there are days जिसमें you're like over the moon because something that you were trying to do for a while had started to bear fruit, right? So as entrepreneurs, we feel कि हम बहुत ज़्यादा like we can manage, because the conflict manage करना बड़ा मुश्किल है. Some people like either are like extremely averse to taking risks, and some people are extremely optimistic. तो हम ये दोनों स्टेट्स के साथ अपने माइंड को रिकंसाइल करते रहते हैं कि यार there has to be long term optimism because otherwise तो कुछ होगा ही नहीं, right? And then there has to be short term paranoia which helps us like get the drive on a day to day basis कि यार ये नहीं वर्क कर रहा, चलो let's try this is not working, let's do this. So वो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट को मैनेज करना और रिकंसाइल करना अपने हेड में कि यार ये दोनों चीजें ट्रू हैं, वो आई थिंक दैट हेल्प्स अस.
Is it on a lighter note? Does that kind of like grounding come from age? अगर भी अपनी 20s में अगर स्टार्टअप रन करना है तो फिर मेरे ख्याल से पहला वाला सिनेरियो है, फिर 30s और लेट 30s में जब आप आ जाएं तो फिर आप जरा और लॉजिकली सोचना शुरू कर देते हैं. Is it that?
नहीं, बिल्कुल सही कह रही हैं आप. So देखिए, with age, you the two things happen, right? Your energy goes down, but your experience and all the learnings that you have also sort of go up. But for like younger people, I think the trick is to also like get some kind of wisdom or understand कि यार वो क्या कर रहे हैं, there are risks involved, उसको कैसे calculate करना है. And for older people, it's just about having that energy and getting excited about things जो कि that keep you up. And तो मुझे ये भी लगता है कि as you age, ये भी होता है कि you stop like वो जो spark होता है ना आपका, वो खत्म होता है. But staying in early stage startups, वो spark आपका रहता है, right? And that energy keeps on driving you कि अच्छा this is not working out. So it's also like an anti-aging situation, although physically you're aging quite a bit when you're working for early stage startups, but mentally you're still like a kid who's trying to make things figure, right? Trying to make things work.
Yeah,
so
yeah. No, absolutely. And the reason why I asked this question was because हम एक टेक्नोलॉजी प्लेटफॉर्म पे हैं, CxO ग्लोबल टेक्नोलॉजी की काफी ज्यादा बातें करता है, बट my vision is that there's so many um, other young adults, young professionals, बच्चे यूनिवर्सिटी गोइंग, जिनको अभी आइडियाज वाली स्टेज में ही वो स्टक हैं. एक तो वो हम बात कर रहे थे the other day with Samina also, and she's saying that एक बंदा एक चीज चला रहा है तो फिर सारे उसी लाइन में चले जाते हैं, राइट? अपने प्रोडक्ट्स निकालें बट कॉपी पेस्ट करें, बट दिमाग लगा के कॉपी पेस्ट करें, एंड यू एड इनटू दैट वैल्यू चेन. I want to know now that you're right in the midst of we have faced the worst, possibly the worst natural hazard. I'm going through some climate change trainings these days, and everything talks about eco बेस्ड सिस्टम अडेप्टेशन. वो कह रहे हैं कि भाई फ्लड्स आते रहेंगे, अगर आपने अपनी फसलें बचानी हैं, द फार्मर्स नीड्स टू बिल्ड अप देयर कैपेसिटीज मोर. वी आर लुकिंग एट क्लाइमेट चेंज कि हम उसको बड़े टॉप लेवल पे केटर करें, वो टॉप लेवल पे केटर होना ही नहीं है. आई जस्ट वांट टू नो योर थॉट प्रोसेस बिकॉज यू वर्किंग ऑन ग्राउंड, यू प्रोवाइडिंग अ सर्विसेज. आपने दोनों एंड्स टाई अप किए हुए, कम्युनिटी के, फार्मर भी एंड कंज्यूमर भी. So what do you see, what do you foresee that how is your work that you are doing under Tazah technology, how do you foresee it changing the next maybe year, 2 years down the line?
Right. So first of all, I would of course claim that I'm no expert on climate change. I'm not an expert in agriculture. Also, we're
Sure.
learning every day.
Yeah.
Second of all, I think the climate, the impacts that we're seeing on ground are real. We see, like for example, अगर आप इसमें देखें तो wheat, for example, this year we had lower yields across Pakistan because of the heat wave that came in just at the wrong time, right? For the floods that just came in, devastating, right? And they impacted the country quite a bit, right? So that the second view that I have on this is that it's the impact is real and it's going to get worse over time. And and sorry for being very pessimistic on this, but and the third thing that I see is not much work is happening, right? Government is probably not working at all. There are like private institutions, NGOs, and all. They're also working, but just scale chahiye, the kind of solutions that we need at scale are not happening. And that's essentially, again, a pessimistic view, but it's making us food insecure year by year. And the policy level interventions that need to happen, but unfortunately, they're not happening. So it's not a good. We're not in a good place from that perspective.
So eventually तो हम पे आ जाना ना काम. I know what you're saying, but how we've seen evolved is that there are two ways to spin the wheel, especially for entrepreneurs in Pakistan. We are a very very juvenile country right now. हमने तो अभी सोचना शुरू किया ना, अभी हम as a career path ले रहे हैं. And we are supporting people like yourselves, like your co-founders, others like yourself, who are thinking about taking some risks. I just want to know, shuru se hi, was it like a smooth journey? Did you guys also have like dips around the way? What was the biggest low point that you have had in Tazah so far?
So
I'll
first
talk
of all,
about
I
the
think,
lows first.
yeah, so juvenile is a great word. I'm going to use it like for the country and overall. Second of all, yes, I think it has been a very bumpy journey. It has been full of ups and downs. We scaled the business quite a bit, realized that we were not on the right track, changed things around, rescaled to that level. We saw a period of fundraising where it was very easy to raise capital for us due to various reasons and for a lot of other startups. And then we also saw a period जहाँ पे हम थोड़ा सा दूर से देख रहे थे because we start fundraising somewhere in February 2022, but just by virtue of being part of the ecosystem, we saw how the fundraising climate changed from a complete euphoria state to a complete dry situation, which we have today. And what we also foresee is that it's going to get worse in 2023 because of various reasons, macroeconomic, local macroeconomic, and this how super cycles work. So we've seen quite a bit of ups and downs, and I think over a period of time you just get insulated from the emotional because वो ups and downs काम में आ रहे होते हैं, लेकिन वो आपको, of course, they're also draining you and then re-energizing you, and you gotta have a system where आपके जो ये dopamine level, जो भी whatever you call, however you measure happiness, right? So आपको वो कोई basal dopamine system चाहिए होता है जिसके through you can survive through highs and lows. Or highs में you don't get like too excited, and in the lows you don't get like too completely like knocked out, right? So I think founder and for all entrepreneurs, I guess, you need to have like your mental health है ये सारा. and your like overall well-being, that's super important to contain. Important, it's super important to have, because agar wo aap nahi kar pa rahe, you get like carried away by the highs. And we've seen that with ourselves also. You start making stupid decisions when you're on the high, and you stop making any decisions when you're on low. And if you're doing that, you're really like not doing it right. So I think you've touched upon a very good point. It's super important to go through these highs and lows, but also always stay grounded, and also have some kind of like a centering situation where you're always centered, to make sure that you're not getting carried away, or you're not getting like blown away by the highs and lows that you're going through.
Yeah, yeah. Abrar, I was also reading up a lot. I mean, I know about you guys. I read up a lot on the startup ecosystem, and I give examples. So I mentor new startups, very fresh startups, and I share your success story. एक दफा एक मुझे सवाल है जिसका मेरे पास जवाब नहीं था, so I'm gonna put it to you now, so that the next time I go prepared.
Most likely मेरे पास भी नहीं होगा.
नहीं होगा आपके पास बिल्कुल. But 10,000 customers, 50,000 tons of produce, ये कैसे मैनेज हो रहा है? ये तो मेरे दिमाग में तो ये बिग डेटा आ जाता है. You're talking about scale, but and you're a fairly young organization, अभी toddler है. ठीक है, तो ये कैसे मैनेज हो रहा है? What is it behind you? What is your best practice that they've put into place, ensuring that there is repeat business as well, ensuring that there are no delays, because वो delivery streams भी हैं, तो वो कैसे सारा कुछ मैनेज होता है?
Okay, so just a disclaimer here that that is a part of the business that we've slowly and gradually descaled because of various reasons. Although the tonnage remains the same, we work with larger customers now, but जो smaller customers थे, at one point in time जब हम थोड़ा सा अपने आप को business को transition कर रहे थे, rescale कर रहे थे, तो उसमें हमने उस vertical को थोड़ा सा lower down the order कर दिया, right? But जब हम कर रहे थे, तो it was a lot of operations, it was a lot of like hard work by a lot of like talented individuals who were working days and nights. मुझे जब हम उस period में थे, मुझे याद है like it was almost like सुबह 10 बजे एक मीटिंग होती थी, 11 बजे एक और लड़ाई होती थी, 12 बजे एक और चीज होती थी, फिर 1 बजे होती थी, and it was like a 24-hour thing, right? We built systems around it. Of course, technology company का काम है. We built systems around कि deliveries किस तरह manage होंगी. We built even data models around, किधर किसको पहले जाना है, किसको बाद में लेके जाना है, किस customer को serve करना है, किसको नहीं करना, किधर से source करना है. It was a lot of science, but I think it was mainly driven by a lot of talented people who just wanted to do it, right? And that really works. Nothing else works. Just a group of talented people trying to make it work, building systems around it. When systems break, figuring it out कि किस तरह आप इसको किस तरह करें. तो वो था. बट डिस्क्लेमर ये है कि वो जो ज्यादा कस्टमर्स वाला मॉडल था, वो हमने आहिस्ता आहिस्ता वो डीस्केल करके वी वर्किंग टनेज वही है, उस तरह की टनेज पे काम करें, बट वर्किंग विद लार्जर कस्टमर्स नाउ एज अ पार्ट ऑफ इंप्रूविंग ताजा एंड मेकिंग इट बेटर.
Economies of scale.
Yeah.
Yeah, great, excellent. No, sounds exciting. How daunting was the fundraising process?
Initially was very daunting. पहले जब आप पहली दफा रेज करने जाते हो, तो when you don't have the network, when you don't have the success, आपके ज़हन में वो कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं होता. पहले जब आप पहले 10-15 दिन रेज करें, तो ऐसा लगता है कि शायद कभी भी रेज नहीं होगा, right? Because we'll never be successful. All those self doubt comes in. But once you are able to do it the first time, I think उसके बाद से वो जो आपका होता है self doubt, वो कम हो जाता है, confidence build हो जाता है, and then you start seeing things for as they are, right? And the things as they are basically that investors are not doing founders a favor. Initially you feel like ऐसे मुझे तो like आप थोड़ा सा वो होते हो, you're like डरे हुए भी होते हो ये वो. But basically investors का अपना एक end होता है, right? They're looking for outsized returns, and they're looking for startups that are going to really make them rich, right? And give them returns जो कि उनको portfolio में मिलता है. Or found like nobody's doing anybody a favor. It is a partnership eventually, because आपने बहुत से highs and lows बहुत लंबे period में देखने होते हैं. 5 से 10 साल का investment period होता है. But when you realize that it's just like incentive alignment system where if the founder does well, the investors do well also, right? So on and so forth. तो फिर आपको समझ आता है कि it's not a parent to child relationship. It's not like a zero sum game. It's basically both of them trying to add value and trying to meet their own ends. And जब आपको वो realization होना शुरू हो जाती है, when that generally happens after the first capital raise, so then things become easier, right? You also have more confidence in your fundraising. We were able to raise quite a lot of capital very quickly, which was also a sign of times, because वो time sort of different था.
Hmm.
We also learned quite a bit, how the fundraising process works. We learned from some of the best people in the US also, like some of our investors, उन्होंने कहा कि अच्छा मैं इन्वेस्ट कर रहा हूँ, लेकिन तुमने ये चीज़ ठीक नहीं की, अब जरा ना मैं तुम्हें बैठ के समझाता हूँ कि मुझे समझ आ गई, like I like you guys, I like the business
Yeah.
model, बट
Yeah.
एक सेकंड अब जरा बैठ जाओ, अब मैं तुम्हें बताता हूँ कि इस तरह नहीं कहना होता, ये कहना होता है, ये कहना होता है, ओवर द
Sure.
पीरियड ऑफ टाइम वो आपका बेहतर हो जाता है, राइट? योर पिच
Hmm.
गेट्स बेटर, the kind of things you say get better, the kind of words you choose get better, the storyline gets better, and then
Hmm.
eventually early stage is even like series A, series B level tak, it's about the right narrative, and it's about like the right founders and the track record, right? And the right market that you're in, your product market fit, business model and all, right? So
Yeah.
it gets better over time. It
Four
gets better.
rights. Four rights make one big tick, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Great. It's funny that you mentioned that it's a parent-child relationship. And is Taza a child to you?
Taza is a child, absolutely. Taza is
Yeah.
our like Taza is a
Is it
newborn.
like the
Abhi,
cherry diet बच्चा जो कुछ नहीं गलत कर सकता, या कभी कभी उसको एक आधा थप्पड़ शप्पड़ पड़ जाता है?
बहुत पढ़ते हैं जी, थप्पड़ तो बहुत पढ़ते हैं.
Great, great. I'm just glad, because this is one advice that I would really want, and I think you're agreeing with this as well, that one of the things why what we're seeing here, otherwise as well outside of Pakistan, is that जो startup owners हैं, they're so much in love with their startups कि वो उनमें गुंजाइश ही नहीं रही कि वो उसको fix कर सके ना, वो इतना perfect बच्चा है उनकी नजर में. ऑल्दो जो दूसरे लोग उसको ऑन लुकर्स हैं, उनको लगता है कि हम इसको थोड़ा सा झाड़ पोंछ इसकी अगर हो जाए तो ये थोड़ा बेहतर हो जाएगा. But great, excellent. We're around the clock. We're just at time. Any advice, Abrar, that you would want to give to people? Is there more room for agri-tech startups in the country?
There's absolutely more room for agri-tech startups in the country. India जो हमारा comparable market है, I believe there are more than 500 agri-tech startups over there. And the space इतनी complicated है कि the more startups in the space, the better it is for everyone, because then they collaborate and pick up problems that they can solve with each other. Partnerships work out. Then everything sort of gels in well, right? So the more startups in the space, the better it is. Also, like जब आप multiple startups काम कर रहे होते हैं तो adoption तेज हो जाती है, right? If there's just one startup trying to make the effort, तो वो सारी effort उसके ऊपर आ जाती है, but वो time ज़्यादा लग जाता है. So if there are multiple startups, तो वो accelerate कर देते हैं adoption को, digital adoption को. People understand कि यार ये तो हाँ से ये तो products चल ही रहे हैं. पहली दफा कर रहा होता है adoption, उसको मसला आता है.
Yeah.
In terms of advice, I think yes. I think starting something of your own as early as possible helps. Speaking to people, speaking to founders, I think that helps. Reading books, getting yourself upskilled, that helps. And then of course when you're like in the ground, तो वो on the job learning तो बहुत ज़्यादा हो ही रही होती है, accelerated learning हो ही रही होती है, right? जब आप खुद अपनी चीज़ चला रहे होते हैं, because things break and you gotta fix them, and eventually अपनी sanity भी maintain करनी है, you have to keep on going, right? So there's a lot of learning over there. So I think we start early, but like always be like a sponge, learn, and always like keep evolving and being a better person, better version of yourself every day, right? So that helps.
Excellent. And on a final note, I like to say that we need more people like yourselves to come up, give back to the society, because हम बहुत सारा अच्छा काम कर लेंगे, but जब तक हम बात नहीं करेंगे, जब तक हम लोगों को अवेयरनेस नहीं देंगे, I'm pretty sure कि आज के हमारे 20-25 मिनट से there would be at least 5-6 new things that somebody would have learned, which is the hope which we live with. So thank you so much. We wish you all the best. We would like that CxO keeps in touch with you, and we would be in touch with you. There some kind of any kind of R&D that we want to do, any kind of research that we want to do on agri-tech, we'd be sure to look you out.
Thank you for the opportunity, and happy to help out in any way possible.
Thank you so much, Abrar. Take care. Have a great day.
Bye. Thank you.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.